Hey guys, so I'm still catching up on my reviews from vacation. I had like over 10 books that I had finished and hadn't reviewed yet, so I'm doing a few at a time. Today we're gonna be talking about One of Us is Lying, Salt Kiss, and Hooked. So One of Us is Lying is a young adult thriller. It opens with a few kids starting detention, and one of the kids, Simon, has an allergic reaction to peanut oil and goes into anaphylactic shock and dies. They start investigating the four kids that were in detention with Simon, and Nate is one of the kids who is kind of from the wrong side of the tracks. So he looks like the scapegoat from the beginning. He really gets the short end of the stick in this story, unfortunately. But at one point or another throughout the book, all of the kids take their turn being the main suspect. They get coined the murder club, the kids that were in detention, and they start doing their own investigation because, of course, they feel like the police aren't doing what they need to be doing. There are a lot of suspicious things that nobody's talking about. And in doing this, sometimes it makes them look a little bit more guilty. But of course, in the end, the only reason the truth comes out is because of the kids' investigation. It's a pretty original angle. I enjoyed the ending. I was shocked. There were a couple of times where I was like, could this be what's happening? Like towards the end. I'd rate it probably a 3.75, not quite a 4, but it gives a little bit of Breakfast Club and Gossip Girl vibes kind of combined. So it is a good story. I liked it. Okay, so next we're talking about Hooked. This is a Peter Pan inspired. So it's not a retelling of Peter Pan. It's inspired by the original Peter Pan by, what's his name, J.M. Barrie or something, not the Disney version. So don't go in thinking this is like the retelling of a Disney version. Hook, or James, whatever you want to call him, is in a gang called the Lost Boys, and they sell a drug called pixie dust. On the very first page, Hook is killing his uncle Croc, so if that tells you how the story is gonna go, it's a pretty dark version. Hook and Peter are enemies. Peter is a shady billionaire who killed Hook's dad for having an affair with his wife. So Hook, of course, wants to get revenge on Peter. And so the way he wants to do that is by taking advantage of Wendy and tarnishing her innocence and then tossing her at her dad's feet. That's the way he wants to get revenge. But of course, they start having feelings for each other. There's a lot of spice and things don't turn out quite the way they had planned. So I would give this 4 stars. I recommend. I'm definitely gonna be looking into the rest of the books in these series. And then the last one, Salt Kiss. So I had talked about this in one of my previous videos, showed a little clip of the girl that did a review of the second book, Honeycut, and she liked this one a lot, and she liked it more than the first one. I bought Salt Kiss to be able to get to the next one, knowing that it wasn't gonna be as good as the second one, but the spice in this, oh my gosh. So Tristan is the main character. He's ex-military. He has just gotten out of the military and gone through a traumatic, time exiting. The whole reason he's leaving is pretty traumatic. So he's basically trying to build his life back. So he applies for a security position at a kink club. Mark is the owner, and we find out a little bit into it. He's a 29-year-old virgin, and he's applying for a security job at a kink club, which is from 0 to 100. So at first he's really put off by the things that are happening in the club, but he needs a job. He needs to kind of start getting back into the world, or he's gonna sort of lose it a little bit. So he accepts the position. So his sole responsibility is to keep Mark safe. And he comes in reporting directly to Mark. He doesn't report to the guy over security. He just kind of bypasses all of the security department, and now he's just strictly in charge of keeping Mark safe. So after some time, it gets sexual, very steamy. Tristan starts to develop feelings. He sort of keeps it to himself. Of course, he's not going to say anything for a little bit. And then there's an attempt to steal some information from one of Mark's personal servers. During all of that chaos, Mark gets stabbed. While Mark is healing, Tristan has to go in Mark's place on this trip, which he finds out is to pick up Mark's fiance. Tristan had no idea he had a fiance, and he has to bring her back to him so they can get married. And it's a 3-week yacht trip. As soon as he picks her up, there's this connection. He's, of course, denying it because he has feelings for Mark. He doesn't want to mess anything up. And 3 weeks is a long time where you're spending every day, all day with somebody. So some lines are crossed. He starts stressing about it. He doesn't know what's going to end up happening once they get back. Is she going to marry him? Are they still going to be, Mark and him still going to be together? Who knows? I mean, I know, but it's very steamy. So if you're afraid of spice, I would stay away from this. But if you like spice, pick this up. Can't wait to get to Honeycut because I've heard some of the storyline. I can't wait for the spice, to be honest. All right, guys, see you in the next video.